Where are you going? It's Wednesday around 4:50, and I'm at a Starbucks in Crenshaw. Gonna go see Michael Bright, who I was an assistant with back in our days at IBG for, I don't know, just a quick bite before heading off to the airport. And today just was frankly exhausted. It was pretty much it was a grind, but I was excited to see so many people. I think where I had left off, I had seen, I went to Silver Lake to go see Michael, who was one of our writers working with us on Reforge, and then worked from Intelligentsia Coffee over there before going to the Reforge event, which happened to be down the street, and got to meet a lot of really cool growth practitioners and people who took the Reforge program based out in Los Angeles. And after that, I drove to West Hollywood to do drinks with our writers group from way back in the day. So by the time I got back home, it was around midnight, and yeah, it was a long day. Got up at 7 today, and just feeling pretty drained, but just trying to push through. All I want to do is like sit and watch YouTube videos or like just stay on Instagram, but I know that's kind of a waste of time, so trying to resist the urge as much as possible and get some work done. What did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about how I pick places to work when traveling and working remotely. So finding a good place to get things done is critical if you're going to be traveling, if you're going to be trying to like do all these meetings and still get work done. What I look for in places, I mean, the basic stuff, right? Like you want to make sure you can go to a place with dependable Wi-Fi, where you know you're going to be able to find a like place for you to sit and work in peace, and you can stay there for a couple hours. I'm talking like 2-3 hours being able to stay in one spot. And so you have to plan this out very carefully, and you also have to think about the logistics and where you need to go next when picking these places. I've been doing this for a long time now, so I do have kind of a system. So I'm going to kind of talk through some of the things that I do. The first thing that I do is I try to stay in one spot for as long as possible, and I don't try to like move around to finding like cool spots every hour or whatever, right? Like you find parking, you sit and you stay, and you just work there for as long as you can. You always want to maximize the time in which you're going to be sitting there working, because you lose a lot of time with the parking, with figuring out the layout of the place. You could pick a place with a bad bathroom, things like that. So that's number one. Wherever you choose to work, you want to try to stay there for as long as possible. Number two is you want to have a few dependable places that you know that you can always go back to. You lose time again when you're just searching and trying to find a place. So you want to cut down on that as much as possible. Have a few places in each city which you know that you like to go to, and go back to those over and over again. Of course, that doesn't always work if you're in a new city. If you're in a new city, then you need to like find places. So a couple things that I like to, a couple rules that help me. I always stick with chains. Going to like a third-rate coffee shop is really great if you're interested in getting good coffee. But for the most part, chains are going to be the better bet, because you're going to have more dependable Wi-Fi. You're going to know their menu, and it's going to be easy to order, so you don't have to think about your order. Usually their bathrooms are cleaner. They will actually have a bathroom, unlike some places. And that's the reason why I like to stick to, first of all, Starbucks, and then Pete's, and then Coffee Bean. Those are like the three go-tos. Starbucks, obviously, my number one choice. It's just where I know all my drinks. I like the food. I have the rewards, so I always get I have the rewards card, so I always get free refills. Yeah, so that's why I always stick with chains. That's number three. And finally, tip number four is, before you go, jump on Google Maps, look at the photos of the place that you're about to go, and make sure that they have seats. You can look to see if they have outlets, because a lot of Starbucks actually, a lot of coffee shops don't have outlets. So you want to make sure you can plug in, otherwise you're going to get there, your battery's going to die after an hour, and then you have to leave. That's number four. I think that was the last one. Also, when you look on maps, you can see about parking, because you want to try not to pay for parking, or you try not to be a place where you need to move your car every hour or every 2 hours. It's a huge pain in the ass, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. That's why you go to places that you know. That's why you look it up on Google Maps before you go. So those are the 5 tips on how to think about working remotely and how to have good remote working experiences when you are traveling. It takes a lot of planning to figure out the logistics to be able to do all this work and see as many people as possible. So hopefully those 5 tips will be helpful at some point down the road. Had dinner with Michael Bright, and now I am at LAX. Had to drop off the car, filled it up with gas, drop it off. Got to LAX, did some work. Had to get together the information that I want to send to the people who attended the LA event. So just getting like the picture together, putting together a survey, and just one last final kind of connection. One final connection, touch point before to close out the event, so that when the next one comes, it feels like, you know, full circle, and it feels like there's a sense of reason and purpose to what we're doing. So got that all together, and we'll send it out tomorrow. Connected with everyone on LinkedIn. Did some random things like sending out a wedding budget over to Jeff, who was looking for something like that, as well as finished all my notes from the week and all the people that I saw. And just now waiting online.